What if this is already hell? Not fire, not demons, not eternal torture, but something far more subtle. What if hell is repetition? You wake up, you rush, you work, you scroll, you worry, you sleep, and then you do it again, and again, and again. Not because you want to, but because you have to. What if hell isn't pain? What if hell is meaninglessness? Think about it. Most people aren't burning. They're not screaming. They're functioning. They're productive. They're surviving. But inside, something feels off. There's a quiet dissatisfaction, a background anxiety, a constant feeling of not enough money, not enough time, not enough success, not enough validation, and it never ends. What if hell is not punishment? What if hell is endless comparison? You open your phone, you see someone richer, someone happier, someone more attractive, someone more successful, and even if you don't admit it, something inside you shrinks. You measure your life against curated illusions, and you lose every time. That doesn't look like hell, but it feels like it. Now think deeper. Traditional depictions of hell are dramatic. Flames, chains, suffering. But what if the modern version is psychological? What if the punishment isn't physical, but existential? You are alive, but disconnected, surrounded by millions, but lonely, constantly stimulated, but empty. You can talk to anyone, but rarely feel understood. You can access infinite knowledge, but struggle to find wisdom. What if hell is living in a system that rewards distraction and punishes presence? When was the last time you sat in silence without reaching for something? Your phone, music, podcast, a notification. Silence feels uncomfortable. Why? Because silence forces you to face yourself. And maybe that's the real fear. Maybe hell isn't external. Maybe hell is avoidance. Avoiding your fears. Avoiding your truth. Avoiding the life you know you could build, but are too tired, too afraid, or too conditioned to pursue. Now here's the dangerous idea. What if hell is not a place you go to? What if it's a state you fall into, slowly, quietly, without realizing it? Think about how people describe their lives. I'm stuck. I'm exhausted. I'm trapped. I'm just trying to survive. Those are not dramatic words, but they echo something deeper. Trapped. Endless. No escape. What if hell is living a life where your days feel identical? Where Monday and Friday blur? Where years pass and nothing fundamentally changes? Not because you're incapable, but because the system absorbs your energy. You trade time for survival, energy for stability, dreams for predictability, and you tell yourself, this is normal. But is it? Now let's go even further. What if hell is awareness without action? You know your habits are hurting you. You know the scrolling is numbing you. You know the job is draining you. You know the relationship is misaligned. But you don't change, because change is risky. So you stay, and the gap between who you are and who you could be grows wider. That gap feels like suffering. Not dramatic suffering, but quiet suffering. And quiet suffering is harder to escape. Now pause. I'm not saying life is hell. I'm asking a different question. If this were hell, what would be different? Would you notice? Would you recognize it? Or would it look exactly like your current routine? Because the most effective prison is the one that feels normal, and the most powerful trap is the one you stop questioning. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. If this is hell, then who built it? Governments? Corporations? Technology? Society? Or did we build it collectively through our choices, our fear, our need for comfort, our addiction to stimulation? Maybe hell isn't imposed. Maybe it's negotiated, one compromise at a time. You accept a job you hate to feel secure. You stay in a routine that drains you to feel safe. You silence your instincts to avoid conflict. And slowly, you build a life that feels manageable, but not alive. Now imagine the alternative. What if this is not hell? What if this is a test? What if the discomfort is not punishment, but signal? Signal that something needs to change. Signal that you are capable of more. Signal that awareness is the first step. Because here's the twist. If this is hell, you're not powerless. Hell implies punishment without control. But you have choices. Small ones, daily ones, tiny ones. And maybe the real difference between heaven and hell is attention. Heaven is presence. Hell is autopilot. Heaven is intention. Hell is unconscious repetition. Heaven is growth. Hell is stagnation. So maybe the real question isn't, is this already hell? Maybe the real question is, am I living consciously? Because two people can live in the same world, and one feels trapped, the other feels alive. Same city, same system, same reality. Different perception, different action, different awareness. Maybe hell is not where you are. Maybe hell is how you move through it. If you wake up tomorrow and do one thing differently, one small conscious action, one honest conversation, one uncomfortable step, does the environment change? Or do you? And if you change, does your version of reality change with you? What if the escape from hell is not location, but transformation? Not destruction, but decision? Because the truth is this: if this is hell, it's the most subtle one ever designed. No chance, no fire, just routine, distraction, comparison, and fear. And the only way out is awareness. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself one question. If this were hell, what would I stop tolerating? And what would I finally change? Because maybe, Just maybe the difference between heaven and hell is not where you go after death. It's what you choose while you're alive.